The diner's neon sign flickered like a dying star, casting a sickly glow over Hoa Karen's smug face as she waved a soggy fry in the air like a scepter. "This is inedible," she bellowed, her voice slicing through the hum of late-night chatter, turning heads and souring the mood. Hoa Karen, all 300 pounds of her, had been a legend in the small town of Crestwood, not for anything noble, but for her infamous eat-and-complain scam. She'd waddle into restaurants, order the priciest dishes, devour most of them, then unleash a tirade about substandard food to dodge the bill. Tonight, at Sammy's diner, she was at it again, her floral dress straining at the seams as she leaned over the counter, berating a young waitress named Ellie. Ellie, barely 19, with tired eyes and a ponytail fraying from a long shift, stood frozen. "Ma'am, you ate almost the entire deluxe burger platter," she said, her voice trembling but firm. "We can't refund a meal you've already consumed." Hoa's eyes narrowed, her jowls quivering with indignation. "Do you know who I am?" she snapped, her tone dripping with the kind of entitlement that made strangers wince. "I'm Hoa Karen's sisters, and I don't pay for garbage." This burger was cold, the fries were stale, and don't get me started on the service. She gestured wildly, knocking over a ketchup bottle, which splattered like blood across the counter. The diner went quiet. Forks paused midair, and a trucker at the corner booth lowered his coffee mug, watching the scene unfold like a slow-motion car crash. Ellie's face flushed, but she held her ground. "Ma'am, I brought your food out 5 minutes after you ordered. It was fresh. I saw you eat it." Hoa's laugh was sharp, almost theatrical. "You're calling me a liar? Oh, honey, you're done here. I'll have your job by morning." She pulled out her phone, her sausage-like fingers jabbing at the screen as she threatened to call the manager, the owner, the mayor, anyone who'd listen. Behind the counter, Miguel, the cook, had had enough. A wiry man with a faded tattoo peeking out from his rolled-up sleeves. He'd seen Hoa pull this stunt before. Last month, she'd gotten a free steak dinner after claiming a hair was in her mashed patates, a hair that mysteriously matched her own brassy dye job. Miguel wasn't about to let her steamroll Ellie, who was working double shifts to pay for community college. "Lady, you ate the whole damn plate," Miguel said, stepping forward, his apron stained with grease and pride. "We're not your personal buffet. Pay up or get out." Hoa's head snapped toward him, her eyes glinting with malice. "Oh, you're brave, aren't you? Some nobody cook talking to me like that. I'll sue this dump for every penny it's worth." She slammed her fist on the counter, making the salt shaker jump. The tension in the diner was thick enough to choke on. A teenage boy named Jaden, sitting by the window with his phone out, was quietly recording, his eyes wide with a mix of fear and fascination. He'd heard about Hoa Karen from his older sister, who'd worked at a cafe Hoa had scammed last summer. Jaden knew this was about to get ugly. Ellie, trying to de-escalate, offered a compromise. "Ma'am, I can get you a new order on the house if you'll just—" "On the house," Hoa interrupted, her voice rising to a screech. "You think I want more of your trash? I'm not paying a dime, and I'm not leaving until I get a full refund." She crossed her arms, planting herself like a human barricade, her bulk blocking the counter. Miguel muttered something in Spanish under his breath, then turned to Ellie. "Call Sammy. Now." Sammy, the diner's owner, was a no-nonsense woman in her 50s who'd run the place for 2 decades. She'd dealt with her share of Karens, but Hoa was a repeat offender, a walking headache who'd cost the diner hundreds in comped meals. When Ellie dialed her, Sammy was already on her way, having been tipped off by a regular who'd texted about Hoa's latest outburst. Minutes later, Sammy burst through the door, her steel-gray hair pulled back in a tight bun, her presence commanding the room like a general. "Hoa," she said, her voice low and dangerous, "you're done here. Pay your bill, or I'm calling the cops." Hoa's smirk didn't waver. "Go ahead, call them. I'll tell them how you're serving rat food and harassing customers." She leaned back, confident, as if she'd already won. But Sammy wasn't playing. She pulled out her phone and dialed 911, her eyes locked on Hoas. "Yeah, hi. I've got a customer refusing to pay for a meal she ate and causing a disturbance. Sammy's Diner on Main. Send someone quick. Hoa's confidence faltered for a split second, but she doubled down, turning to the other customers for support. You all saw this, right? They're trying to scam me. Me, a loyal customer. The trucker in the corner snorted. Lady, the only scam here is you. A few other patrons nodded, their patience worn thin by Hoa's theatrics. Jaden, still recording, zoomed in on Hoa's face, capturing the moment her bravado started to crack. The police arrived faster than anyone expected. Two officers, one a seasoned veteran named Officer Daniels, the other a rookie who looked barely older than Jaden. Daniels took one look at Hoa and sighed, recognizing her from a similar incident at a pizza joint last month. Ms. Sisters, he said, his voice weary, we've been through this before. Let's not make it harder than it needs to be. Hoa's face turned beet red. You're taking their side? This is discrimination. I'm a victim here. She gestured wildly, her voice hitting a pitch that made the diner's windows rattle. Daniels wasn't fazed. Ma'am, we've got witnesses saying you ate the food and refused to pay. We've got video, too. He nodded toward Jaden, who sheepishly lowered his phone but didn't stop recording. Hoa's eyes darted to Jaden, and for a moment, she looked like she might lunge at him. You little brat. Give me that phone, she roared, taking a step toward him. Miguel moved faster, stepping between Hoa and Jaden, his voice steady. Back off, lady. You're not touching him. The rookie officer, sensing the situation escalating, put a hand on his radio, ready to call for backup. But Daniels, calm as ever, raised a hand to stop him. Miss Sisters, you've got two choices. Pay the bill and leave, or we're taking you in for theft of services and disturbing the peace. Hoa's bravado crumbled. She opened her mouth to argue, but the weight of the room stared Ellie's quiet defiance, Miguel's protective stance, Sammy's unyielding glare, and Jaden's phone still recording hit her like a tidal wave. She fumbled in her purse, pulled out a crumpled 20, and slapped it on the counter. Fine, she spat, but you'll hear from my lawyer. Sammy picked up the bill, counted it, and shook her head. This doesn't cover the tip. Ellie's been dealing with you for an hour. Make it right. Hoa's jaw dropped, but under Daniel's steady gaze, she dug out another $5, tossing it like it burned her hand. You're all pathetic, she muttered, storming toward the door. But the story didn't end there. As Hoa stepped outside, Jaden's video, now uploaded to X, was already spreading. By morning, it had thousands of views, with comments calling out Hoa's scam and praising the diner staff for standing up to her. The local news picked it up, and soon, every restaurant in Crestwood had Hoa's picture taped behind their counters with a warning, do not serve. Ellie, shaken but proud, got a raise from Sammy and a scholarship fund started by the trucker, who turned out to be a local business owner. Miguel was promoted to manager, his loyalty to the team earning him respect beyond the kitchen. Jaden's video sparked a community conversation about accountability, and for once, Crestwood felt a little lighter, a little stronger. Hoa Karen's sisters, meanwhile, found her usual haunts closed to her. Her scams dried up, her bluster ignored. She'd built her empire on intimidation, but in the end, it was the quiet courage of a waitress, a cook, and a kid with a phone that brought her down. The end.